Suppose you have no access or contact with these people, but still you want to know their mindset. How would you believe
Mhm.
that astral travel could be helping you in it? To get into their brain or mindset or into their subconscious state, you can access some kind of information or something like that, so that you can use it on into your own life, because they might be having a storehouse of secret information going on. If we are in a hypnotic state, do you believe that we can go to that realm to access that secret knowledge?
To get to that level, I think you'd have to have a pretty good game plan and an immense amount of discipline in this regard. And I also find in the researches I've done in this topic that you get more out of this line by being selfless and not selfish. So if you're doing it just for yourself for selfish gain, and you're not going to do anything positive to the greater humans, greater cause for it, you're not going to get too much of a success.
Welcome to the Blaze Goldburst Show. This is not just a podcast, it's a revolution in knowledge. Here, we dive into the forbidden, the unknown, and the unexplored, asking the boldest questions and uncovering truths that no podcaster has ever dared to reveal. What you are about to experience is rare, mind expanding, and life changing. Tonight, in episode 3 of season 2, we welcome Elliot Mossop, a master of the astral realms, an author, and a life coach with profound wisdom that will shatter illusions and open doors to the unseen. This knowledge you won't find anywhere else. So, subscribe now before you miss your chance, and share this episode with the world, because truth this powerful should never stay hidden. If you are an author ready to self-publish, market your book, or if you seek deeper insights into the occult, visit blazegoldburst.com. Now, brace yourself. The journey begins.
Hello,
Hello, Blaze. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, I was excited to be here. So,
Welcome to the Blaze Goldburst Show. What is astral travel and how does it work?
astral travel has been around for as long as time began, and we've discovered this from the writings of the ancient sculptures and all the wall drawings and stuff like that. They talk about astral travel as when the consciousness of a person, of who we are, the soul, can in fact leave the physical body and go to another place. And it can communicate with other souls, communicate with people. It can view the area. It's also called remote viewing. I believe the CIA have done research on this in a couple of their projects called Project Gateway and Project Stargate back in the 70s. And it was part of their elite military operations of espionage and all that. And in my opinion, for this, with astral travel, what actually happens is we connect to another part of the divine, and it's kind of like quantum entanglement in a way, where we exist here, but we can see what's going on there at the same time. We attain these levels of consciousness with meditation and certain rituals where we put ourselves into an altered state of consciousness. Sometimes you can do that by having like a vision quest, like the Red Indians do, where they have peyote root or ayahuasca, and they go into a trance, and that's how they attain these levels of consciousness.
Okay, so my next question is, can people use astral travel to access higher realms of intelligence? And could this explain the success of billionaires like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Warren Buffett?
Yeah, there's things called the Akashic records, and obviously a lot of people, when they go into these trances and meditation, deep meditation, they talk about connecting with their spirit guides or soul groups, or even guardian angels. It depends on what the culture is that you come from. But I believe in astral travel, you can attain these levels of consciousness where you can communicate and ask questions and obviously learn things. And that also touches on the topic of genetic memory and soul memory as well. So when you transfer yourself in a different set of consciousness and traverse the ether, the great divine, there's this unimaginable vault of information that becomes available to you. Because if you think about your human consciousness as we are here incarnate, and the soul consciousness, which is infinite without bounds and restrictions, when we are in our human form, we have a generalized, self-induced amnesia, as you will. So we get the full experience as a human. And when you traverse into the astral realm, you are entering back into your soul memory, where you remember what you're doing and who you are and why you came to this incarnation in this life. Like the Buddhists believe they lived again, for example. So when you attain a consciousness of the soul and you communicate with these soul groups, you can ask them questions like, how can I do this? Why did this happen? And learn certain things. And I believe that the elites of this world have had some manner of communication with divine intelligence, because they've all got this similar mindset. You look at Bob Proctor, for example, The Secret to Success. He always talks about mantras and affirmations, and there has to be something behind it, because if you can model after someone and do exactly what they did and get the same results, that is like a peer-reviewed test. And there's a whole other section of parapsychology and metapsychology that talks of this. So I think you're correct in saying that a manner of success is attained by communicating with these divine entities.
So you think the billionaires are communicating with the spirit world?
Yes, I believe they are.
And the commoners are not doing it?
They don't know how, or they don't believe in it. We've been taught and indoctrinated to believe that this is all there is. Work hard and get a job. No. There's definitely a different cloth.
Okay. So if someone could astral project into the consciousness of a billionaire, could they absorb their mindset, strategies, or financial wisdom?
If you could, in effect, merge consciousness, I believe that there is a chance that you'd be able to attain some of this knowledge. And that goes along the alignment of surround yourself with successful people, and that energy rubs back off on you. And the same can be said if you surround yourself with people of lesser value and negativity, that washes off on you as well. So being in the proximity of success, you feel your whole energy change. You know, if you look at what the teachings of Abraham and Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks talk about with your immediate area, your web of influence, they talk about changing your perception and allowing. So if you could merge your consciousness with a successful person like Elon Musk or anyone like that, like Jeff Bezos, you're bound to have some sort of positive impact on your mentality, your psyche. I believe that.
Suppose you have no access or contact with these people, but still you want to know their mindset. How would you believe that astral travel could be helping you in it? To get into their brain or mindset or into their subconscious state, you can access some kind of information or something like that, so that you can use it into your own life, because they might be having a storehouse of secret information going on. So much things would be going on. So if we are in a hypnotic state, do you believe that we can go to that realm to access that secret knowledge?
Yeah, I think there is a method we can do to try that. I haven't researched to see if there's been anyone that has successfully done this either. And there's no measure of how many times you can do it, obviously, because there's enough for everybody. It's a balance. If there's immense amounts of richness, you'd have diversity in the other side of it as well. To get to that level, I think you'd have to have a pretty good game plan and an immense amount of discipline. in this regard. And I also find in the researches I've done in this topic that you get more out of this line by being selfless and not selfish. So if you're doing it just for yourself for selfish gain, and you're not going to do anything positive to the greater humans, greater cause for it, you're not going to get too much of a success. But to do that, you would have a plan of purification, or some people talk about it, doing a detox, getting rid of the chloride, chlorine, heavy metals out of the system. That way your body has nutrient rich. They talk about this when you're doing these vision quests and astral projecting. They find it easier to have a clean diet, like vegan. That's people have different mixed reviews on this one, but you would have your meditation, and then you would have your clear intention of why and what you're doing. So you set your intention, like, I dedicate this meditation session, this astral session, for the reasons of this, and you declare that to the divine. Some people pray. Some people get greater levels of consciousness and attaining by praying alone and devoting themselves to that energy. And you would say, I want to connect with this, or the person or the entity who is connected to this person. That's getting right into the occult there where they almost like summoning. You're summoning the inspiration that driven to this person to success, and you are accepting that upon yourself. I believe this is possible. Yes, even if you don't know the person, never met the person, because we're all quantumly entangled on a spiritual level. You can attain that level of consciousness through astral. You're bound to get something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you or anyone you know used astral travel to gain insights that led to financial or business success?
I haven't met anyone who's done it for the financial gain or gained it. If they have, they probably haven't told me. But I have met a few people that have used astral projection to gain information about areas, visit places around the world and beyond the world, actually. I had this story that I read in the Book of One, the Lord Ra. Oh. They spoke of the Mars, actually, and the ancient races that used to live there. And my sister did remote viewing and attended the area on Mars, and she confirmed it. She used her astral projection to view the area on Mars back in time. So not only can you travel around the world, but you can travel to points in history.
What did she see there?
She's seen the advanced cultures and the technologies of the time, the people.
That we have not accessed yet.
No, we have not. Not that the government will tell us, anyway. The Mars rover's been there a few years now, so bound to have seen something. But no, if you can view a place in history and view people and things, there is no indication to say you can't learn or use this information for personal gain, as long as you're doing something good about it and positive. I would say you have a great amount of success.
Can astral projection help people visualize wealth creation on a deeper subconscious level?
Yes. Yes, they say if you do something 12 times, you create a habit. So if you create a habit of astrally projecting yourself into the realm of success and where you want to go, you use that in accordance with and conjunction with affirmations and declarations, and you visualize yourself stepping into that role, doing what you need to do to become that person that you can see. You're saying, I will do this, I will talk like this, walk like this, talk like this. I will be a person who has this. And you surround yourself with that energy of having, to the point where you can't tell the difference mentally that you were at that level of success, you will undoubtedly change and evolve into that which you can imagine. So you astrally project yourself into a realm, into a dimension you've created, where you are this person with this amount of success and all these things, and you step back into your body here, eventually you will change. That comes down to the matrix theory, where you're rewriting your program. Yeah.
Could someone astral project into future stock market trends or business opportunities? How does time perception work in astral travel?
Time has no place in the astral world because you're removing yourself from all physical limitations. So pretty much it's a pause and resume scenario. When you astrally project, you can go somewhere, whatever, for however long. And then when you come back, you would enter back into your body. The difference would be if anyone has counter to this, they would be sleeping at the same time as astrally projecting. So they're doing two things at once. If they say, oh, I astrally projected and I went to Paris, France, and then I come back and it's the next day, well, yeah, you went to sleep. So you return back to your body after you astrally projected, then you slept, and then you woke up. So there's that one. And future stock market trends, without a doubt, if someone's actually done that, the chances they've told someone about it and succeeded, I don't think would be very up there at all. They'd probably keep it to themselves, because if someone can do it, everyone can do it. For the same reason the CIA didn't actually tell anyone that they had successful missions with Project Gateway and Stargate. Because if they tell everyone, hey, we've done this, everyone's going to be doing it. And that leads to a whole can of worms in regards to privacy and security, national security, terrorism. What's to say people can't hurt people in the astral world? So you'd be having assassins, the silent assassin, going around doing stuff like that. And that's dangerous. So predicting the future stock market trends, if you could do it, that's great. But I can't tell you if the butterfly effect works. Because if you've
It's like
predicted
time
something,
travel. It's like
and then you come back, now you know about it, it's changed. So this is why if you do something positive to people, you're going to intend to change it anyway. People that would be able to get that information, just I haven't got enough experience in people and case reviews to talk about that, but people have had overnight success, and all these people in the upper class and elite class and the shadow class, they've got untold amounts of wealth, and they all do the same thing. So it has to be something behind it. I fully believe this.
okay. Is it possible to communicate with the spirit of great financial minds, such as Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, or even Steve Jobs, through astral
Yes.
travel?
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can. But it comes down to the protections they've got in place as well. Because once you're doing these type of rituals and routines, they would undoubtedly have researched into how to protect themselves as well. Again, through espionage and privacy and intellectual property. If these people are doing what we're talking about, tapping into the great divine for personal gain and all that, they would also know how to stop people from going in. If you look at remote viewing and people that have gone into the KGB and all that through astral projection, I haven't got the references there, but if you look hard enough, you'll find it on the internet. They talked about going to places like Area 51 because they're purely curious of what's going on. And once they start projecting their consciousness into this area, they've been knocked out and woken up with an incredible headache and even gotten physically sick. And they talk about there has to be an entity there or some sort of practice they're doing to stop people from going to certain places. And that would be not surprising if the CIA and other elites have gotten to hone this practice to a point where they can control it for the good intention and bad intention. So what are they hiding? If they can stop people from projecting into a certain area, they can stop people from gaining certain things. And that's another interesting thought.
So we can meet these people, Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
They've passed away, and
Yes.
if we access their minds in the spirit realm, would that be
Yeah.
possible?
I think we can do that.
Can
Yeah.
we ask them questions?
Yes, there's soul connection and spirit boxes. They've people have contacted Robin Williams, people have contacted Chester Bennington, people have checked Amy Winehouse. There's a few channels out there of spirit boxes where people can talk to the spirits. So if you can talk to the spirit in the physical realm, like here, you can talk to them in the astral realm there. Whether they're going to teach you their secrets or not, it's completely up to them because they're still an individual. But yeah, I think it's completely possible.
Okay. Can a person visit the Akashic records during astral travel to gain financial knowledge about global markets, investments, or wealth building?
Yes. Yep, the astral projection into the Akashic records is a individual experience. I believe I've gone there once, but because I'm not incredibly disciplined at attaining that level all the time, sometimes you'll have success in meditation, sometimes you won't. And this is all over across many different belief systems. Going into the Akashic records, people talk about this grand hall, like a library, where you can go to the shelves of anything. Other people talk about sitting down with an expert or a librarian of sorts and getting the information they want. If you can attend the Akashic records, which is a place that has untold bounds of information across every single subject, you can go there and you would be able to learn about trends, learn about what to do, how to do it, anything that you want, you can probably get from the Akashic records.
How was your
global
personal
consciousness.
experience? How
My
was your
personal experience, yeah, I was asking about Tartaria in history when I went to the Akashic records, and I got a bit of information just to dabble in from the 1890 Great Fires. There's something to follow there where they're trying to hide the old world and get rid of the information of free energy. And that was built from global greed and consumerism, which is a communication for another time, I think. I'll just hijack the topic altogether. It's not a small topic, that one, Tartaria.
For another interview, we'll keep it.
Another one, yes. But no, my personal experience, I went to the bookshelf and I was shown to pick up this particular book, and you open it up and the page is there already of what you wanted to read. And you're scrolling through with diagrams and maps and words. There's even dead languages there. I spent about 20 minutes there looking at certain things. Oh, and then I spent another couple of minutes looking into my past life, where you can look at your own past lives in the Akashic records. Yeah. That was quite an interesting experience.
How was the place like?
It was like one of those grand chapels and halls, like the Notre Dame or something like that. But it's deeply personal. So if I go to my Akashic records and you go to yours, you may see something completely different. So all I can say, it was just filled you with this sense of grandeur and gratitude and wonder, where you're like, I can't believe I'm actually here. Like seeing Victoria Falls or the Golden City, the Golden Temple, Sri Padaswami or something like that. It's on the southeast coast of India. I'd love to go there.
Okay. How does astral travel connect with the law of attraction? And can it enhance wealth manifestation?
Yeah, the astral projection is pretty much, as Esther Hicks describes it, your natural state is bliss. So everything in your material world, your physical world, your environment, your people, everything that's on your mind, you've got the balloon and you're holding it underwater. That's resistance of the flow, the law of attraction. Esther Hicks says the second you start meditating and relaxing and allowing, and you enter the astral realm, you let go of that balloon and it's going to go straight to the surface where you're back to your natural state of bliss. And the law of attraction talks about if you're in your state of bliss, things come to you with ease because it's the path of least resistance. If you have your intention of astral projection, wealth creation and knowledge and understanding and learning the tools and experience to continually promote this for yourself and other people, it's going to come back to you. Astral projection is basically the merging of your physical consciousness and your soul consciousness and meeting somewhere in the middle where you can create manifestation, personification. So you're pretty much there in amongst it, creating what you want to desire to come to you.
Can someone astral project into the subconscious mind to remove financial blockages and self-limiting beliefs?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Astral projection into your own consciousness is a very strong tool for success. And people do it all the time on the physical level and the soul level. In meditation, where you set your intention of what you want to learn about yourself, and then you can do shadow work where you talk to your own consciousness and say, why am I doing it this way? What am I scared of? What are my beliefs? What are my feelings about this? Because your feelings are guidance systems. If you project into your own consciousness and say, I have a limiting belief of worth. Why is it that my past business ventures have failed? Is it because I'm scared of success? Is it because I believe I am not entitled and worthy enough to do this? So you project into your consciousness and they reflect back on you and say you're doing it because of this, or a past life trauma you've carried into this life, and that's your limiting belief. It's a very, very effective tool. It's very similar to hypnotherapy, where you talk to yourself as well, or mirror work, where you get into an altered state of meditation or delta state, and you're talking to yourself in the mirror. It's a very deep psychology there. And astral projection would probably be the easiest way to do that because you're already in a relaxed state. There's less resistance. Yeah.
How do billionaires use visualization and mental exercises similar to astral travel to manifest wealth and success?
Affirmations, declarations, using their imagination, getting yourself into the most enjoyed state, like Bashar says. And Darul Anka, he talks about follow your bliss. He talks about getting yourself into your what you do that makes you happy. If you follow that and get yourself into that emotional channel on your vibration and your frequency of accepting, because there's always abundance around you. To get yourself into that abundance mindset, you have to ask yourself, do you believe yourself to be worthy? Do you believe yourself to deserve this type of change in your life? Because the second you actually start fully believing without resistance that you deserve success and abundance comes to you. We have all the people talk about it the same way, from Brian Tracy, Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, and a whole swat of other people. They talk about the abundance mindset, the success mindset. So to gain the financial knowledge and the know-how on how to do that using astral projection and meditation, it's just a stepping stone. If you use all these things together, you're going to get there without a doubt.
Can someone use astral projection to meet a future version of themselves who is already wealthy and successful?
Yes. If you set your intention to enter the spirit realm through astral projection to meet a future version of yourself, you can definitely do that. There's nothing stopping you or what you can do with your imagination. And the thing is, if you put wires on your head and you visualize a race, a competition, anything like that, and you can close your eyes and all the sectors of the brains light up, scientifically proven that this happens in sports psychology, like a Formula One champion, Michael Schumacher or something like that. They say doing the race, and they do it exactly the same. That they would, if they were doing the race side by side. Wise, I'm driving, and the other part, you're imagining it. It all lights up exactly the same. So if you are doing that in a state of astral projection, you will be meeting a future part of yourself. Even if you're traversing to another dimension or timeline jumping, the astral realm will show you a version of yourself where this has happened. And it will be real. Because if you can see it on the computer when you're visualizing it, how can it not be real? It's real. It has to be.
Have you visualized yourself?
I have. I have visualized a part of my success, and I just don't know how to get there. Maybe this is one of the paths to success. Meeting you was part of my path to success. I really appreciate that. But no, I have seen a version of myself where I've done certain things. And then when you wake up, you've ever had deja vu? Have you ever had deja vu? I think that is where you have met a version of yourself in reality and you're walking the same path. For my whole life, I've believed if you are experiencing deja vu, it means you're on the right track. That's why it resonates with you. It hits differently. Yeah.
Are there specific meditation or breathing techniques that can increase one's ability to astral project and manifest abundance?
Yeah. There is, I've had a bit of success with Iceman's breathing techniques. You know Wim Hof? Have you heard of Wim Hof? Wim Hof is one of the world-leading experts on breath work. It's where he actually climbed Mount Everest in his underwear to prove a point that you can do anything with the right mindset and breathing. He can meditate in sub-zero temperatures using his breath because he gets himself to that level of consciousness where the super consciousness oversees the human body, regulates your temperature, regulates your limbs. He didn't get nothing wrong with him at all. He was actually injected with a dangerous pathogen of sorts. And through his breath, his body expunged the virus and he didn't get sick. So using Wim Hof's meditation technique with his breathing, I was able to get my body into such a state of relaxed and control where I could hold my breath for 4 minutes on a static inhale. And when I was doing meditation immediately after that, it was like an immense lucid clarity with my vision quest. And yeah, you can definitely attain higher levels of consciousness and awareness through your breathing. So with Wim Hof's breathing, there's about 4 different types of like alkaline breath, breath of fire, and all that. If you use them in a conjunction of a different, do this breath first, then this breath, then this breath in a certain order, like a kata, you can attain a higher, more intense level of consciousness with lucidity in your meditation. So using breath work and certain meditations, it's definitely a success pathway to attaining perfection within your own technique of astral projection. I believe to use them in conjunction, just like salt and pepper. Breath work, meditation, astral projection, they should all be in the same basket all the time. My favorite part when I know that I've done it properly is when you breathe and then you feel that engulfed in waves, tingles, pins and needles all over. It almost feels like you're levitating when you do it properly. Yep. That's my personal experience when you're doing astral projection and meditation.
What is the connection between astral projection and lucid dreaming? Can they be used together for financial growth?
Astral projection, you're in control from the start, where you know what you're doing and you enter that state, and then you go about what you want to do, whether you're on this realm, the next realm, on the moon, whatever timeline you want to project into. You go visit a friend in another town. And if they're also doing that, you can meet them. As you know, we've spoken about this. Lucid dreaming is where you intend to dream the dream realm, and you are aware 100% that you are in the dream. And the second you have that awareness that this is my dream, it's like picking up the controller on a PlayStation or an Xbox. You are controlling the avatar. So I'm aware I'm dreaming, now I can fly. I'm aware I'm dreaming, I can change where I am in an instant. So, yep, I'm now in the Alps. I'm now in Rome. Lucid dreaming is you have complete control with godlike powers, commanding everything. So in your dream, if you can control it to that level, you can run the scenario and see what your life would look like as a successful person. And I've done that. It's very nice. I don't know where I was living, but that house was nice. The car was nice. So getting into the financial knowledge and abundance using lucid dreaming, I would say using that as a toolkit to continually remind yourself why you want to put in the work in your waking world and what you need to do and how to get there. I think the information you'd get from astral projection to wealth creation would be more reliable because you're touching into something more tangible, whereas lucid dreaming is more fanciful and fiction. So they're in the same category, but they're not the same thing. Definitely not. Lucid dreaming I would just use as validation. Yeah. To put yourself in that state of this is what my life would look like when I get there. Astral projection is the toolkit to get there.
Okay. Can entrepreneurs use lucid dreaming or astral travel to gain business insights, discover
Yeah.
innovative ideas, or foresee industry trends?
If you adept at astral projection and you can passively view without doing an imprint and letting them know you're there, like shadowing them, and you could see what happens behind the doors of BlackRock or Vanguard or all those elites that control 90% of the world's wealth. If you could get your remote viewing to that category of observation, yeah, that's something you could do. But I don't know if they've got any protections and security in place there. Like I said, there's certain areas where you can't go in the world because they've done something on the psychic network to protect themselves and prevent you from getting there. But if you can shadow people and see what they're doing and copying them, it's like copy trends and market trends and stuff like that. The US Congress do it all the time. Nancy Pelosi, there's this woman in Congress over there that makes millions of dollars off trends. And you can literally go and buy what she's bought on the public profile and make money off that. But if you could go one step further and know what she's about to do, make money at the same time, taking advantage of the ups and downs, do that. I think you've got to know where you want to go, though. It's like shooting an arrow from a distance. If you haven't got your target where you need to be, that arrow can go anywhere. So I would do some research before you start astral projecting into those rooms.
If someone astral travels and meets a mentor or guide in the astral realm, can that guidance be applied to business and wealth creation?
With that one, using them as a mentor, I think the experience that I've had when I talk to that subject of bringing knowledge back, everything that I've read and my experience in that, it comes down to when you get to that level of spiritual awareness, materialism tends to fade away. So it no longer becomes important. No doubt there have been people that have done that track to personal wealth and personal development. But when you get to that level of spiritual awareness, you tend to move away from physical things and consumerism, and you grow more on a spiritual wealth where you discover who you truly are and who you're supposed to be, and your sole purpose of what you're actually supposed to be doing in this life. So consumerism and material abundance, it no longer becomes where you want to go. So yes, you can use your mentor for enlightenment in physical, financial sectors of your life, but the chances are that you're going to go in another path when you get to a certain level. Because if you believe what Journey of Souls talks about with reincarnation and past lives, if you didn't learn what you're supposed to learn in this time round, you're going to do it again in your next life. Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, you can use your connection to your mentor in the spiritual world and astral projection to gain in this world, financially, business, economically, and all that, but it may be the answer you're looking for.
So if you astral travel, then you can meet somebody that will guide you
Yes.
in your path.
Yes. But your path may not be financial, is what I'm trying to say. You can meet somebody, but they'll say, yes, I can give you the money there, but this is what you really want. They
But
may redirect.
what if you set an intention for financial only?
Yeah. Yep. I believe if you can justify your questions and say, I'm doing the financially to get myself to a point where I'm financially free, where I can focus on other things. So if you could justify it, like you want to use it for altruism and philanthropy, you want to get yourself to a financial state where you are free, where you can help other people, then I believe that would be means and proper use of financial wisdom from the divine. So your mentor may agree. I haven't personally met that mentor, and I'd like to. And if I do, I'll let you know.
Okay. How does quantum physics relate to astral travel? And could the same principles be used to create wealth?
Quantum entanglement, that's what I was trying to get at earlier, when all life is connected. So if you could lock into that certain area, like a location or a person, and you can put your intention to the spirit world, you become connected straight away. So using that information for financial, you'd have to know where to look. Like I said, if you know where those rooms are, where those discussions happen on the stock market, you could say, I want to learn about this. And then you put your intention and your vibration to this, and then you enter the astral realm, and then you go there. That's the connection. So it's kind of like a honing beacon or a GPS point. If you set your intention before you go to astral project, you know how to navigate to get there. Using that knowledge for financials and the quantum, yeah, you'd have a better idea of where you're actually going and could go there faster, I think, because quantum entanglement's more of a navigating.
If reality is a projection of consciousness, as some physicists suggest, does this mean we can literally project financial success into existence through astral travel?
Yeah, I think we touched on this earlier. When you project your consciousness into a future version of yourself, you're rewriting the code in the matrix theory. If they suggest that, then I think that's completely correct. I think they're onto something. When you're talking about the superconsciousness and string theory, you'd be able to rewrite your own code for success, 100%. And there are content creators out there that talk on this using certain manifestation techniques with breathing and candles, spells, the occult. Some people get tattoos of a Sator square or Fanu the runes. All these things that you are bringing into your energy that have a certain intention. Someone's put an intention on them. It's shared consciousness. Say, for example, if I told you that if you only write with a red pen, and every time you write with this red pen, you're going to get that energy of success. And every time that with this red pen, you write down, I will make $2,000 on this date. And you do that every day up until that point, you are drawing something to yourself. And that's part of writing another code in the matrix. That's what Bob Proctor was saying. If you continually do something religiously and dedicated, you rewrite your code. It's called timeline jumping. So if you look up the matrix theory and timeline jumping, they all talk about affirmations and declarations. I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me will simply find me. You do this every morning, every midday and night for 12 days. What you're doing is you're recreating your consciousness, your mindset. And what doesn't happen to some people is they're doing it with lip service and they're not actually believing it. So doing it in the realm of timeline jumping and astral projecting, what you're doing is you're aligning your consciousness to get to successful mindset, and you're not just saying it, you're speaking it into existence. So the more you actually believe it and you can actually see it, and you get that self-worth and self-belief, that self-esteem, that's saying, I am actually this person. I'm not just saying it, but I am. That's how you rewrite your code. And people have done it. Lots of people have done it. It is a very real thing.
Can you tell us about your latest book and what inspired you to write it?
The book I'm working on at the moment, funnily enough, is called Still Dreaming. And what's happened to the two main characters in my book is they set a declaration to the universe. They spoke it into existence. They said, I want to meet the perfect partner. I don't want to be alone anymore. I'm ready and I allow the perfect person to enter my life. So when they did their meditation and they did their affirmations before they went to sleep and in their dream, they woke up in this mutual scenery in France. And obviously it's a cliche, it's their perfect person. So they meet each other and they fall in love. But when they wake up, they're like, oh, that's just a dream. So they think nothing of it. And then over time, they keep having the same dream of each other. And it's shared consciousness. So she went to sleep and he went to sleep and they met each other. Lucid dreaming. Met each other. Astral project even. Their consciousness melded in another dimension. They met each other, fell in love, and then they, in real life, they've gone about their day. Eventually, it got to the point where they couldn't tell the difference if this was the real person or not. And they met each other in real life. So it's a romance novel. It's about hope. It's about belief, overcoming tragedy, trauma, mental health. And then it's about lucid dreaming. It all started with that mindset. They allowed it to happen and the law of attraction happened.
So, can two people astral travel simultaneously to meet each other?
Yes. There's books on it. There's been studies on it. Shared dreaming is actually a whole concept of one of the psychologists, I think, wrote a book about it. And that's the Sonoy people of Malaysia, I think it was. They talk about having a collective consciousness where the whole tribe dreams of a certain singular outcome and they make it happen. So yes, two people can meet in their dreams.
Where can readers find your work and how they can connect with you?
When my book is finished in a couple of months' time, I'll be able to upload it onto Amazon. And you can connect with me on X or Facebook. I've got those, and even Instagram. And I'm toying with the idea of making a TikTok channel as well. So stay tuned in that area.
Thank you for joining the interview.
No, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed it. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, we'll have some other kind of discussion also on astral travel and health, relationships, and other areas also sometime. So
Okay.
because I'm getting to learn a lot from you and about your experiences also. And someday we can also discuss about past life regression and other topics, if
No,
possible.
yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be definitely fun. I look forward to it. Thank you.
Take care.
Cheers.
You have just stepped into a realm of knowledge that most will never dare to explore. But what you have heard today, it's just the beginning. The universe is vast, filled with secrets hidden in plain sight, waiting for those bold enough to seek them. What we uncovered today is one fragment of a much greater truth, a truth that has the power to shatter illusions and redefine reality itself. But here's the catch: the deeper we go, the more shocking the revelations become. So don't just walk away. Subscribe now, because the next episode will push the boundaries even further. Share this with the world, because knowledge this rare should never be buried. If you crave more forbidden wisdom, or if you are an author ready to make your mark, visit blazegoldburst.com. I am Blaze Goldburst, and this journey into the unknown is far from over. Stay bold, stay fearless, and I will see you in the next one.